You know that moment when your chest gets tight, your stomach feels like it's twisting in knots, and your mind is spinning with every possible what if? That's anxiety, and it's exhausting. Here's the truth nobody told you: fear isn't the enemy. Anxiety isn't the enemy. They are signals your brain sends, signals designed to keep you alive. But here's the twist: they often show up without any real danger in sight. Your brain is wired to protect you. It's constantly scanning for threats, even tiny ones. And when it thinks it sees something that could harm you, it hits the alarm button. That alarm comes in the form of racing thoughts, a pounding heart, shaky hands, a knot in your stomach. It's your brain saying, hey, something might be wrong here. But here's the problem. In our modern world, most of the alarms we get are false alarms. We're not running from wild animals anymore. We're not hiding in caves to survive storms. Yet our brain reacts to a critical email, a tense conversation, or an uncertain future with the same intensity it once reserved for life or death moments. This is why you might feel your chest tighten when your phone buzzes, why your breathing gets shallow when someone says, "We need to talk." Your body thinks it's saving your life, but really it's just reacting to a story your mind is telling. That's the thing about anxiety and fear. They're storytellers. They take one thought, one small worry, and build an entire movie around it. A movie where you fail, where you're rejected, where the worst possible outcome becomes inevitable. And the more you watch that movie in your mind, the more real it feels. Your body doesn't know the difference between an imagined threat and a real one. So it reacts the same way every time. Adrenaline rushes in, your muscles tighten, your heartbeat quickens, and suddenly you feel trapped in this loop of dread. The truth is, anxiety and fear are ancient tools. They are your brain's survival mechanisms, built over thousands of years. They kept your ancestors alive. They helped them sense danger before it was too late. But those same tools don't always serve you in today's world. Now, they often keep you from living fully. They stop you from speaking up in a meeting, from starting the project you've been dreaming about, from saying what's really in your heart. Anxiety whispers, what if it goes wrong? Fear says, better not try. And if you listen to them without question, they win. But here's what changes everything. You start seeing them not as enemies to destroy, but as signals to understand. When anxiety shows up, it's telling you something. Maybe it's saying you care about the outcome. Maybe it's pointing to uncertainty that your brain doesn't know how to handle yet. Maybe it's reminding you that something matters deeply to you. When you see it this way, the signal becomes less frightening. It's not an all-powerful force that's here to ruin your life. It's just an internal alarm saying, hey, something's happening. Pay attention. Once you realize that most of these alarms aren't about real danger, you can choose how to respond. You can breathe. You can ground yourself in the present moment and ask, am I actually in danger right now, or is my brain just running a simulation? 9 times out of 10, it's the simulation. It's a mental rehearsal for a disaster that will probably never happen. That's the difference between real fear and perceived fear. Real fear is stepping into the path of a speeding car. Perceived fear is worrying you'll trip in front of people while walking on stage. Both feel the same in your body, but one requires urgent action and the other requires perspective. When you stop treating anxiety and fear like enemies, you start to see their usefulness. They can highlight areas of your life where growth is possible. They can show you what you value. They can give you a push toward preparation. But they don't get to run the show. They can knock on your door. They can try to convince you to stay small. But you get to decide whether to let them in or not. You can acknowledge them, thank them for trying to protect you, and then move forward anyway. Because the presence of fear doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're human. It means you're about to do something that matters. And anxiety, that's just your brain practicing for an outcome you haven't chosen yet. You don't have to believe every story it tells. You can rewrite it. You can step into the unknown and act. Even with the butterflies in your stomach and your heart pounding in your chest, the alarm will go off. The thoughts will race. The what-ifs will show up. And you will take the next step anyway. Because now you know, they're not enemies. They're just signals. Signals you can hear without letting them hold you back. They tell themselves, I'll start when I feel ready. I'll speak up when I'm not nervous anymore. I'll go for it when I feel sure of myself. It sounds reasonable. It feels safe. But here's the truth. That waiting only makes fear stronger. It's like giving fear a chair, a blanket, and a cup of tea, inviting it to stay as long as it wants. The more you wait, the more you feed it. Fear loves time. It loves when you overthink. It loves when you play every worst-case scenario in your mind like a movie you've seen 100 times. And the longer you sit with those images in your head, the more real they feel. Your mind starts to believe that danger is just around the corner. Your body reacts like you're already in trouble. Your chest tightens. Your hands get clammy. Your stomach churns. And now, the thing you were once simply nervous about feels impossible. You tell yourself, I'm just not ready yet. But that not ready feeling is exactly what keeps you stuck. Because confidence isn't something you wait for. It's something you build. And the only way to build it is through action. Think about it. When was the last time you felt confident doing something for the very first time? Probably never. The first time you tried anything, driving a car, speaking in front of a group, learning a new skill, you didn't feel confident. You felt awkward, uncertain, maybe even scared. But the more you did it, the more comfortable it became. Confidence grew out of repetition, not from waiting. The idea that you should wait until you feel confident is one of the biggest lies you can believe. Because if you wait, you may never start. Fear will always find a reason to keep you still. There will always be another doubt, another excuse, another what if. The truth is, fear doesn't go away before you start. It goes away because you start. Action is the antidote to fear. When you take the first step, even if it's small, something shifts in your brain. You go from thinking about the problem to engaging with the solution. Your focus moves from what could go wrong to what needs to happen next. That shift breaks the loop of overthinking. It's like telling fear, I hear you, but you're not driving today. The more steps you take, the quieter fear becomes. And here's the magic part. Your brain starts to rewire itself. Every time you act despite fear, you teach yourself, I can handle this, even if you stumble, even if it's messy, even if the outcome isn't perfect. You prove to yourself that you can survive discomfort. And once you've done that, the next time fear shows up, it feels a little less convincing. Confidence isn't built in your head. It's built in motion. And motion doesn't wait for permission from your feelings. It starts while your heart is pounding, while your palms are sweating, while your voice is shaky, because that's where growth lives, on the other side of action. You might think, but what if I fail? You might, but failure is information. It's a stepping stone, not a dead end. Every failure teaches you what to do differently next time. Every attempt makes you stronger, braver, more prepared. If you wait for confidence before acting, you'll miss all those opportunities to learn. You'll miss the chance to become the version of yourself you're capable of being. You'll stay in the same place, replaying the same thoughts, feeling the same fear over and over again. But when you act before you feel ready, you surprise yourself. You realize you're far more capable than your doubts allow you to believe. You discover that most of the scary things in your head aren't as terrifying in real life. You learn that fear is loudest before you start, and quietest after you've taken the leap. This is why the people who accomplish the most aren't always the most confident at the beginning. They're just the ones willing to start scared. They understand that waiting for confidence is a trap. They know that courage comes first and confidence follows. It's like walking into a dark room. You don't wait for the light to come on before moving forward. You move forward to find the light switch. And that's exactly how you stop fear from growing. You step in, you act, you do the thing not because you're fearless, but because you refuse to let fear decide for you. You show yourself again and again that you can feel uncertain and still make progress. And that's how confidence is born. You must act your way out. That might sound strange at first, because when anxiety shows up, most people retreat into their minds. They replay situations over and over again. They analyze every possible outcome. They search for the perfect thought that will make the feeling go away. But here's the problem. Thinking is exactly what keeps the anxiety alive. Your brain starts running in circles looking for certainty it can never find. It feeds itself with what if questions. What if I mess this up? What if I embarrass myself? What if they don't like me? Each thought fuels the next, and before you know it, you're stuck in a mental loop with no exit. It feels like you're solving a problem, but in reality, you're just rehearsing fear. Your body doesn't know you're only imagining these scenarios. It reacts as if they're happening right now. Your heart races. Your breathing gets shallow. Your muscles tighten. You feel frozen, trapped in a state you can't think your way out of. That's because anxiety lives in the body as much as it does in the mind. And you can't break a physical reaction with thought alone. You have to interrupt it with movement. Action sends a signal to your brain that the situation is being handled. It shifts your focus from worry to doing. Even the smallest action can disrupt the spiral. It might be standing up and walking across the room. It might be taking a deep, intentional breath. It might be speaking the first line of the presentation instead of rehearsing it endlessly in your head. When you act, you tell your nervous system, I am in control, and your brain starts to calm down. Think about it like this. Anxiety is like being stuck in a car with the engine revving too high. Sitting there thinking about it won't lower the RPMs. You've got to shift gears. Action is that gear shift. It changes the rhythm in your body. It changes your breathing. It changes your posture. And when your body changes, your mind follows. But here's the catch. You have to act before you feel ready. If you wait for calm to arrive, you'll be waiting forever. Because calm is the reward for action, not the requirement for it. This is why so many people stay trapped in anxiety. They think, once I feel better, I'll move forward. But moving forward is what makes you feel better. It's the very thing that flips the switch in your brain from panic mode to problem-solving mode. Every time you take action in the middle of anxiety, you weaken its grip. You prove to yourself that you can handle discomfort. You learn that fear doesn't have to be the driver. You stop being a prisoner to your thoughts. It doesn't have to be a huge, dramatic move. It can be something small, something immediate. Make the phone call. Write the first sentence. Walk into the room. Start the conversation. Send the email. Do something that takes you out of your head and into the real world. Because the real world is rarely as terrifying as the one anxiety creates in your mind. And here's the beautiful thing. The more you act in the presence of anxiety, the more your brain rewires itself. It learns that fear doesn't mean stop. It learns that uncertainty isn't fatal. It learns that you can feel uneasy and still make progress. With repetition, you build a habit of responding to anxiety with motion, not rumination. And that habit will change your life. You'll still feel the first surge of worry. You'll still hear the voice in your head telling you to wait, to think, to prepare a little more. But you'll know better. You'll know that thinking longer isn't the answer. Doing is. And each time you choose action over overthinking, you break anxiety's pattern a little more. You take back a little more control. You get a little more freedom. Because you can't think your way out of anxiety, but you can move your way through it. It's your body preparing for something big, something important, something urgent. But most of the time, there's no actual danger to respond to. So all that energy has nowhere to go. It sits inside you, restless and uncomfortable, spinning in circles. Your mind races. Your heart pounds. Your muscles tighten. You feel like you need to do something, but you don't know what. That's why anxiety feels so heavy. Because your body is ready for movement and you're standing still. It's like a car engine revving at full speed while the car is parked. All that power is trapped, and the longer it stays trapped, the more uncomfortable you feel. This is why thinking about your anxiety rarely helps. Your body is asking for action, not more thoughts. If you only stay in your head, that energy keeps building until it feels overwhelming. Anxiety isn't a sign you're weak. It's a sign you have too much unused energy in the moment, and the solution is to redirect it, to give it somewhere productive to go. Movement is one of the fastest ways to shift anxiety. It can be as simple as standing up, stretching, walking, or taking a few deep breaths with purpose. Even small actions signal to your brain, we're doing something about this. Well, your body starts to follow your lead. Your breathing deepens. Your heart rate steadies. The storm inside you begins to calm. But redirection isn't just about physical movement. It's about purposeful action. If your anxiety is tied to a task you've been avoiding, start working on it for just 5 minutes. If it's about a conversation you're scared to have, send the first message or write down the first sentence you'll say. The goal isn't to fix everything instantly. The goal is to tell your body, we are moving forward. When you redirect your energy into action, you stop feeding the cycle of overthinking. Because overthinking traps the energy in your mind, while action releases it into the world. Think of it like water in a river. When it flows, it's powerful and purposeful. When it's blocked, it builds pressure until it spills over. Anxiety is that blocked river. Action removes the blockage and lets the current move again. This is why avoiding the thing that scares you makes anxiety worse. Every time you avoid it, you store more energy without releasing it. That's why the problem feels bigger and scarier the longer you wait. But when you take a step, even a small one, you release some of that pressure. You create momentum. And momentum is the opposite of anxiety's paralysis. You don't have to feel ready. You don't have to feel calm. You just have to give that energy a job to do. It could be finishing one small part of what's overwhelming you. It could be cleaning your space to create a sense of order. It could be writing down every thought in your head to clear mental clutter. The point is to keep the energy moving, because when energy moves, anxiety loses its grip. Your body starts to believe we are safe. We are doing something. The brain loves progress even in tiny amounts. That's why small, immediate actions can have such a big impact. You shift from feeling trapped to feeling in motion, and motion changes everything. Anxiety is not a permanent state. It's a signal that your energy is trapped and needs a release. When you respond with intentional action, you turn that restless power into forward movement. Instead of spinning in fear, you start building momentum toward what matters. You stop being a container for all that tension, and you become the one directing it where it needs to go.